Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, we are experiencing a power blackout, and our solar is not actually working right now, and therefore you just bear with us in this situation, but we have to do this. Now, President William Ruto, together with the ODM party leader Oburu Odinga, unveiled the progress of the 10-point agenda in an article report which was handed over to these two leaders. And Agnes Zani, I think she's the one who was chairing this committee. And if you look at that report, of course, they explained themselves, and again, they have set aside for more time. That is 60 days to deal with those issues. So it means they are extending the time frame. This committee was expiring today, but there's an extension. So today, Sifuna and his team responded to this by now releasing their own report. There is a Q code which was shared, Linda Mwananchi, and they have shared their views that they believe it is true about the issue of the NADICO report. In the NADICO report, they're referring to it as the 10-point agenda. Sifuna and his team, they are referring to it as the 10-point lies. That is the headline that they're giving to this. And if you scan that code, you will go through the report, how the narrative failed to conform to the agenda. You will see the entire report, but first of all, here is Sifuna's view in this meeting ahead of releasing their 10-point lies.
Last Saturday, March 7th, 2026, was the day on which the committee overseeing the implementation of the 10-point agenda between our late leader, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and President William Ruto was expected to release its final comprehensive report. As Kenyans now know, that did not happen. And in their continued contempt of Raila's express intentions as stated in the document appointing the committee, they chose instead to do their own thing, releasing a report yesterday, not to the public as required by the appointing authority, but to a select few. The Linda Mwananchi leadership has long held that the mandate of that committee was limited in time and scope. When they were appointed, it was stated in plain English that they would be required to present progress reports every 2 months, with a final report on the 7th of March 2026. This finality deliberately falling neatly on the same date as the expiry of the two signatures on the document. Their sole mission, therefore, was to ensure implementation of the 10 items and deliver a final report on the 7th of March, period. What we witnessed yesterday was a shameful charade meant to hoodwink the public that the MOU had been implemented when it is obvious to all Kenyans that nothing could be further from the truth. This fact became apparent in a most embarrassing manner when attendees led by the Governor Cecil Mbarire openly challenged the President on the contents of the so-called report. Observers would also have noted that the President purported to extend the mandate of the committee by another 60 days in the same meeting where Dr. Oburu Odinga had earlier argued that there was no time limit in the implementation of the MOU. The confusion that Kenyans witnessed at KICC yesterday is enough proof that the so-called broad-based team are aware that they are lying not only to Kenyans but to themselves. We want to also make it clear that the ODM PG as an organ has no powers under the party constitution to make decisions such as they purported to make yesterday. You will recall that prior to and during the signing of the now expired MOU, it was the party's National Executive Committee under the leadership of the late Raila Odinga that processed and superintended the process. The purported extension is therefore ultra-vires, unconstitutional, null, and void. Be that as it may, we have also held the position that whether or not the MOU had been implemented cannot be a matter of conjecture. If abductions and extrajudicial killings stopped after the signing of the MOU, we would all know because we all live here. If counties have received 450 billion shillings in shareable revenue in the current financial year, we would all know. If indeed Ruto and his government honored their pledge to respect the identity and integrity of political parties, it would be obvious to all of us. Today, we wish to present to Kenyans the true report detailing the failures in implementation of the 10-point agenda, breaking down each agenda item and the falsehoods used to wrap them. Indeed, we have noticed that at the tail end of its mandate, the committee suddenly started traveling across the country, purporting to be conducting public participation. Yet the resolution to the 10 agenda items lay squarely with the regime of President William Ruto. Our expectation was that the committee would be domiciled at State House, seeking answers there on a daily basis. We present this report to seal any gaps that the committee and the regime may use to fool Kenyans that all is well in our nation. The decline in the national values espoused in the preamble to our constitution is a grave cancer that cannot be cured with short-term painkillers. The nation must confront these failures and hold the government accountable on each count. We are obliged as leaders to rise to the occasion and reject attempts to lull us into slumber with lies packaged in beautiful gift wrappers. Thank you very much. That is a statement on behalf of this team. And at this particular moment in time, we will go straight to the report so that we are able to present our view of the state of implementation of that MOU. I would like to invite on stage the Member of Parliament, Suba South, SG Azimio.
Now, I want us to continue with the panel discussion, but before we go into that, I have a quick and humble request. For those who are watching this channel and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to our discussion. Now, if you look into what this team has shared, number one, full implementation of NADCO report. That means NADCO report was supposed to be fully implemented on those agendas as detailed. So you should ask yourself a question. Why did this team decide to add more time of 60 days? That means there is serious issues here that are yet to be implemented. So on that matter, they have failed. They have talked about the audit of the 2022 presidential election. Was it audited? What is their finding? I think they can't tell you anything. This is why Sifuna is saying the 10-point lies. Number two, inclusivity in governance. Is there inclusivity? Just look at it and you tell me. Is there inclusivity? Is everyone and every community involved? Number three, protect and strengthen devolution. Is devolution protected right now? Is it being strengthened? You know, according to Raila and what he believed, it was that devolution should be embraced, and this is one of the ways to grow and develop this country. Bado disbursement ya pesa za county government inachelewa. Are you strengthening devolution? There's a lot is failing here. Are you adding more money to counties? In fact, they're thinking on how to reduce what is there. Promoting and protecting the livelihoods of young people. That was the point number 4. Is this government promoting and protecting the lives of young people? Tell me in the comment section. It gives Sifuna reason and his team to refer to this point as the 10-point lies. Leadership and integrity, the fight against corruption. Is there integrity in this government? Is this government fighting corruption? Tell me any single serious case that this government has prosecuted through the court. And if it is to recover government property or public property, they have done so. Niambie on a serious note. So, when you go through that report, you find a reason to agree with this team that most of the things that they talked about were never really implemented. The issue of compensating, when you talk about protecting young people in this country, they are being kidnapped. Freedom of expression iko wapi? Can we really demonstrate without any problem with the police? Can we do it in peace? It is still a big problem. So definitely you find a lot of issues here are yet really to be dealt with accordingly as it was captured in the NADCO report. So you will easily justify what this team is referring to as the 10-point lies. Cost of living iko up. Wacha tufike hapo.